Welcome to In the Light. I'm Anna Isabel. I'm an analytical hypnotherapist as well as an astrologer. And my guest today is Dr. Rebekah Smith, who is the author of Born to Do It. Rebekah, welcome to In the Light.
Hi, Anna. I hope you're well, and thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. I wanted to invite you on because your book is about how you found your soul's purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about bringing in spiritual concepts to help yourself in terms of your own growth and that of your business. So how did you stumble across this? How did this begin?
So it began again randomly because I didn't know anything about spiritual concepts like soul purpose and manifestation when I was younger. I didn't have that upbringing, but I found it on a different journey. And I realized when I got into the world of spirituality after healing from a bad relationship breakup, I got into that world and I realized that what I was doing and what I was doing in my career was actually what's called my soul purpose. And these are all things I didn't know about until I discovered them. And when I realized what I was doing, what I was born to do, soul purpose, I wanted to really write about it. And this all came really out the blue during the second coronavirus lockdown in the UK. Well, no, the first one, actually, sorry. So it just came about by accident. And it was something that was always in me to write. And I always knew I had this book in me.
I think the thing that really resonated with me as a therapist, when I'm working with clients, one of the things that I really work to help them to do is find what it is that lights them up. Because, and particularly also when people come to me for astrology readings, a very common question is, what should I be doing? Well, the answer is you should be doing what lights you up, what gives you joy. And so I think that part of your book really resonated. So I'm not going to say any more about it. I'm going to let you describe how it is that you found that spark.
Yeah, so that is interesting because it was all, again, it all happened by accident. So I thought what I should be doing in my career, in my life, is working within academia. I had a massive passion for film, and I always liked Quentin Tarantino, and I liked, researching film. It was really one of my passions, and I enjoyed it, to be honest. It was more like a hobby. And it came to the point where I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, maybe you should do a PhD. And I was like, well, I don't really think I want to do a PhD. But then they said, oh, no, maybe you should do a PhD because it's something that you're good at. You like film and, you should probably teach, because people said to me, you should teach. And I said, okay, I'll teach. And then I was doing the PhD, and it's hard work doing a PhD. It's a big piece of work. It's a big project. It's very intense. It's very also a bit isolating because you're doing work on your computer a lot and researching and looking at data statistics and reading books. So it's important to have like a support group around you. But it is also quite an isolating process. So a friend of mine was starting up a film festival. He'd been asked to start up this film festival near the university where I was studying. He said, do you want to help out? And he said, it's a horror film festival because I've been asked to put on this festival because there isn't one in Wales. There's a gap in the market. And I was like, great, I'll do that. I thought it's a good excuse to, get some time out from the PhD and being like working 24/7. And I realized when I was doing the festival, this like hobby, something to do, was actually what I wanted to do for a career. And I realized this is what I really enjoyed doing, was working in film festivals and producing them, meeting new filmmakers. And I thought I'm really liking this more. I'm more drawn to it than I am the world of academia. And I was at a conference. It'd be like a year into the festival. And I was thinking, I want to do more of this now, but let me finish the PhD. I was at a conference and a woman said to me, one of my friends, she said, oh, isn't academia the best thing in the world? And I said, no, it's not for me. I mean, it might be for you, but, I just don't want to do this long term. I want to get the PhD done. And I found a gap in the market in the film festival sector. There's nobody doing what I do now, which is helping people get their film seen in festivals, helping create strategies. So I thought this is where I need to be putting my energy, not any more academia after the PhD. I'm done. And I made that decision, and I haven't looked back on it since, because it was the best thing I've ever done.
So I think what excites me listening to you is that you did exactly what I advise people to do. Have some fun, play, have some hobbies, because that's the way in which you're going to discover what it is that gives you joy. And then working out how to turn that into a career comes later. But first, you have to allow yourself the freedom to experiment and play. And that's exactly what you did.
Yes, absolutely. No, it was. I mean, I had to really trust myself. I didn't know at the time that I'd found my sole purpose. I just knew I'd found something that I really liked, and I preferred it to academia. So it was a really kind of strange kind of time, because people were saying, well, how can you do this business when no one else does it? So how can you prove yourself when you've got no connections yet and it's all a new thing? So, well, I'm determined to make this work. And it was my sole purpose that was pushing me to not give up, and to you can do this. You can make the move from Wales to London. You can make the move and succeed. You just have to believe and stay very firm and grounded, even though there were lots of tough times. It just kept me focused and kept me going, to not ever let that slip, and to really believe that this has got value. I can do this. I am the right person to do this, and no one else is.
I think the thing is that once you find what it is you want to do, you have to hold on to that.
Yeah.
And then learn how to make it work. You're not necessarily going to learn how to make it work immediately.
No.
So one of the problems that some people encounter is that when it doesn't work the first time round, they think that they're not meant to do it. It's not necessarily the case. It's the process of discovering how to make it work is completely different to whether or not you're meant to be doing something. I think that's where people go wrong. And one of the things that I loved was how you described how it actually was a process for you to discover the right business model to make your passion work.
Yes, no, absolutely. And you're right about mistakes. There were quite, as you say, I didn't have any business training. My background was project management, in the PhD world, and being a PA, so super organized, all that kind of thing. But what I didn't have was obviously business knowledge. So it was learning on the job, but also bringing on a team of people who could help me with it.
Just thinking about what you said there, being confident enough to actually say, I need help. I think that's a big thing, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was a point where I was in too deep. So I was, doing everything myself. I didn't know how to delegate or what the key tools were to delegate. I was, going around in circles, and I was trying to remember things in my head in my business. And when I met a business strategist, it just everything, she said, everything's the good intentions here. You're getting the results, but you're killing yourself in the process. So what you need is these infrastructure, these business tools that will really help change things. And she was right. She was absolutely right. I knew I was doing it. I was doing the job, but there was just the infrastructure was missing. And when you have the infrastructure in place, things fall into place much better, because you then get more work, and you've got delegate in the right way, but asking for help was a big thing, because I was at the point where, I said, I think I've got something good here, but I'm missing something. I don't quite know what it is, because I'm not trained to do this. And she helped me a lot. A lot of them did. I had several people help me who have been long-term supporters. I appreciate them full stop. But my God, yeah, absolutely fantastic.
So at what point did you realize that you'd completed the first stage, you'd found your purpose, you had a business that was working, but now you needed something else? There was something that you needed to make it, shall we say, deeper. So bringing in different spiritual elements. So how did that happen?
So that was interesting, the spiritual side. So this all came into my life, spirituality, when I moved to London. So I had a relationship with a guy, and it broke down, and it was very weird kind of experience, and I couldn't fathom it. So then I turned to spirituality. Someone said to me, what you should probably talk to is a spiritual counselor. So I thought, okay, so I gave it a go. And he introduced me to the world of Doreen Virtual and angel therapy. and cards and oracle cards to help. And I got into it and I realized this actually is a very powerful thing, the law of attraction, manifestation. And that got me into the world of realizing how important it is to co-create with the universe, and collaboration with the universe is really crucial to get the business running, and also your personal life. So it works in all aspects of your life, and how important a vision board is. So all these kind of aspects came when I expected it. So I just came to, having to deal with grief. But people said it needs, a friend of mine at the time, she said it needs to be maybe take the approach, a more spiritual approach, will think will really help you. And that was the best gift, because ever since that day, I haven't turned my back on spirituality at all. I've completely focused upon spiritual techniques to help me through my personal life and also my business. So the two of them go hand in hand, and they're very important for business infrastructure. You can get a lot from the universe when you ask and co-create.
What I like there is the word co-create, because that's something that I talk a lot about with my clients, because it requires an understanding that we are not in sole charge of our lives. And we know that because things that we would not wish for happen. There's something else. And equally, there are things that we would wish for, but didn't because it never occurred to us, and they happen. So there's clearly something bigger than ourselves that's there. And what we need to establish a relationship between us and that energy. So some people will call it universe, some people will call it God, but we need to acknowledge its existence. So what do you feel about that relationship?
I think people do it, we do it every day, but we just have to remember not to be selfish. It has to be kind of a collective again, so it's you, your clients, how you're going to make a difference. If you want to be an influencer, then how will you change people's lives, and what can you do? So one of the things I'm doing right now is, the business I have is great, it's growing, and I want more staff to come on board, looking for investment, for other roles to delegate. But I'm also looking for my personal brand to become more paid influencer, because I have a nice niche, is that I can, say clothing brands, I can give them access to the film industry by being on the red carpet with their clothes, and etc., so on and so forth, because I have a following that's a niche but engaged following. I want to look in those opportunities. So I'm always collaborating, but it's not a case of I just want to look good on the red carpet. It's all about me. It's more a case of, how can I help these boutique brands get seen on the red carpet and enjoy the process. So it is a case of when you're co-collaborating, it's as a teamwork. That's the collaboration, but the co-create, it's not just you, it's you and other people. So you're doing it for the good of all concerned, and also you're doing it in the best interest for you and other people and for the highest good. And it's not just all about you end of the day. It's about the teamwork.
And that's the crucial part, is because when people think about law of attraction or cosmic order, sometimes it's hard to see where the spiritual element comes in if people think that it's all about fulfilling desire. And it's not about that at all. It is, as you've said, it's about working for the good of others. And so in your case, what you're doing is you are supporting businesses that you believe in. You are supporting clients who have a creative talent, and you're helping them succeed in getting their films seen. So it's about helping them manifest their dreams to enable them to continue to fulfill their soul's purpose. And I think that's a very important principle there, because what we wish for ourselves needs to be something that benefits others too, and that supports others as well. And that's what you're talking about. Your very business is a business that is about helping others fulfill their purpose in the creative world. And then you're extending that further. You're saying, okay, so the clothes that I wear, I'm going to really publicize that, because that's going to help more creative people, designers, the seamstresses or the tailors who work on this, they will benefit. So it's really looking at how everything you do has a positive contribution for the world that you're a part of.
Correct. That's spot on. That absolutely it is. And like you're saying, is that we are, when I place a cosmic order, it's always a case of, for example, every night before I go to bed, I say them, but a lot of the time it's for my clients. So it can be, what I'd really love and appreciate is for no less than one of my clients' films to be accepted into a film festival tomorrow, for the good of all concerned. So it's me, it's them, and the festival get a great film. So really, it's 3 people involved there. It's like, over the weekend, I was like, oh, I'd love some of my films to win awards. So I didn't want to specify what film. I was saying, what I'd really love and appreciate is for as many of my films as possible to win an abundance of awards this weekend, for the good of all concerned. Because there were 2 film festivals happening, and they were nice ones that really liked our films. So I thought we'd place that important order. And yesterday, we won 20 awards, 10 at each festival.
Oh, congratulations. How wonderful.
Thank you. So happy clients, happy festival, and great, for branding too. So we're all in it as a team.
I think it's interesting because this is a concept that's been with us probably since time began.
Yes.
The idea that you make a wish, that you say a prayer. But it's funny because in many of the stories, the fairy stories, when you make a wish, there's rules. There's only 3 very often, there's a limit how many wishes you can make. And you're not supposed to wish ill on somebody else either, because often that backfires. So you have to be careful what you are wishing for. So there's that concept. You have to be careful what you are wishing for. It needs to be something that's positive and good. The idea of prayers, again, this notion that you can ask for something. So this is the latest version that humanity has come up with of the same idea. It's the idea that you put in a cosmic order, that you're asking, but there are rules again. And as you've just said, it cannot be merely a selfish request. It has to benefit everyone involved, and it cannot be for ill either. Exactly.
No, absolutely. Because if you do that, you set yourself up for karma, and don't want that happening, because that's bad. Saying he's going to pay for this. I want this person to have this horrible experience. That's definitely nothing that is negative and ill is really not in anyone's best interests.
So the other thing that you talked about was feng shui. You used feng shui and also color. And I thought that was wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's interesting with that aspect. So feng shui was introduced to me after I got into all the spirituality. It's probably 3rd on the list. And my good friend Phil introduced me to Diamond. And she is very well known in the area of feng shui. She is featured in the book The Secret, and she contributes about feng shui. And when I met her, she's a looking woman, all diamonds on her necklaces, stands out with her color. And I thought, well, she's a striking looking woman. She told me about what she does. I said to her, I've just launched my business, here's my business card, and let's keep in touch. And then she said, there's something wrong with your branding. That's why you're feeling low in yourself, and also why you're not getting the clients you want, because your logo is the wrong energy. It's a low vibration. I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, first of all, it's all in black. It needs to have more color. You need to add in some red and some gold in your energy alignment, but also with your industry, red carpet, some gold and stars. And she said, worst of all is your logo is that you have the woman with her looking with her back to the logo. So she's like turning her back on your clients. So you need to turn her around to face the logo and welcome them into your shop. I was like, oh, okay. So I looked at it, I John, I was like, that is such a good value. I thought that's a really important point. So I changed the logo the minute after I saw her, and things did change. And she then became my mentor. She said, look, you're wearing black all the time. You need to put on more colors that will give you confidence that you're lacking, but also to fit in alignment with your energy and also what you want to achieve with your goals. She talked about her quantum colors method, where she applies the right kind of colors to people in their branding, in their home, and their clothing. She's all part of feng shui to get the right energy flowing in yourself and in your home and your environment and your workspace. And I did it on me. It changed my whole wardrobe, to like black clothes to red, and what I've got on now is a red dress, that kind of thing, all that kind of stuff. And it was incredible. And it changed a lot of my vibration, and it got me in a high vibration that really attracted more clientele and was more striking on social media, on the web. So she changed a lot to really help me. That little tweak just made a huge difference.
It's interesting how many people wear black almost,
Yeah.
well, actually habitually. And
Yeah.
it's such a heavy energy. It's
Yes.
also energy of invisibility. And
Yes.
and I think what I enjoyed when I was reading your book was seeing how just by wearing brighter colors, there was something in you that changed.
Yes. Yes, no, absolutely it was. I mean, when I saw her, as she looked stunning, and she was wearing all kinds of colors that really like just attracted themselves to her and pulled themselves towards her. And I was like in black. And I remember doing this presentation, I had like a black dress, and then I think it was a gray kind of cutting or something. It was just very much like low, shall we say, for my energy, and trying to wear gold, but didn't work. And then she told me that, wear white, wear gold for financial abundance, wear blue, which is like cobalt blue, really striking blue for closing business deals, futures and things. She said, you need more of that. So we need to work on that with you. And I was like, okay. So I just bought these clothes that I wouldn't normally buy. And I was like, when I put them on, I thought, wow, this feels great on the red carpet. I was like, wow, it really stands out. The energy is flowing and radiant, but also got the right clothing to really generate that. So it feels amazing. And it was fascinating because I didn't believe it until I saw her. Everyone at the dinner table just had their eyes on her because she shone like a diamond, literally. And I was like, wow. So I thought, okay, it works for her. I believe it. I believe what she's in the secret book. I'm going to try it myself. And it worked. I'm turned back on that since. If I wear a black dress, it comes with gold. It's gold bracelets, gold necklaces. It's never just black on its own. It has to have the extra weight to it to really stand out.
That's the thing, is if you want to stand out, you need to use color. And
yes.
And also, I think the thing about color is that it absolutely does have a vibration to it. It's light. Color is light. It's a light frequency. And so if you want to raise your vibration, working with color is a very beautiful way to do it. So this has been a wonderful insight into so many things. Your book is Born to Do It. And I would recommend that if you are starting a business, or you're involved in a business, or you want to understand how to find your life's purpose, Rebekah's book is certainly going to give you some wonderful ideas to do that. I like the way that you have almost like a workbook approach to it.
Yes. Yes, I'm glad you like that approach, because I like people to digest each chapter and, do their working exercises, get going, and really start tapping into their soul purpose to get the right results.
It is useful because very often when we're reading books, there's quite a lot to process. And what you're encouraging people to do is to not just go on to the next chapter, but to process what they've read and think about how it applies to them. I think that's a wonderful thing to do.
Thank you. I'm really glad you had such great feedback on it. And I'm glad it resonated too, because I made it for people that were, unsure the next move to make. Because when I wrote it, it was during the coronavirus pandemic. And that was very much people were thinking, what should I do in my career? I've just been made redundant. So I thought, well, the key thing you got to do is do what you're born to do, not what someone else should think you should be doing.
There is one other thing that I'd like you to just talk a little bit about briefly. And because you've been talking about manifestation and vision boards, can you explain what you mean by that?
A vision board, a manifestation, yes. So one other thing I was brought into when I got into spiritual was about manifesting vision boards. And Marie Diamond talked to me about this too when we first met. Vision board is basically putting on a piece of paper images that resonate with you, that you want to visualize to achieve in your life, and also putting on there affirmations. For example, I am in a romantic relationship. I earn no less than £20,000 per pound a month. I am now an influencer who gets paid with big brands. So put the words and pictures together and use images that resonate with you can look at, and just visualize that you could be doing that job or with that person, or in that area of the world, or at that event, that kind of thing. So it's very important when it comes to doing a vision board that you choose images that really click with you and connect with you, and that you say affirmations that you can look at and really resonate with. Because when you visualize, you manifest. So manifestation can take several forms. You can say it out loud, like, it is my intent to purchase a house in Dallas, Texas in the next 2 months. Really affirming that, and you're going to dedicate yourself to doing that. Your vision board, which has images of Dallas on it, and your home and your ideal place, and visualize it. So I will get this deal done. I will get this deal done. So that's kind of things you can say it out loud. That in a affirmation, you can put it on paper, visualize it on a vision board, look at it every day. So in your eye line. So they're important tools to work towards achieving your goals. And I love both of them, but I do have a vision board because I have several of them. I have like one for projects we do in the company, one for my personal life. Looking at them every day gets you very inspired and actually keeps you focused on your goals, and that you go on the wayside, keeps you aligned, focused, and you don't disappear. You remain grounded and stay focused on your goals.
I am a great fan of the concept of vision boards. And the reason is because working as a hypnotherapist, when I'm working with clients to help them to visualize different options in their lives or what it is that they want. So what we're doing is, in hypnosis, we're getting the message to the subconscious that this is how things are. This is how they need to be. And that's almost like rehearsing the new life. So for instance, somebody is wanting to become a great golfer. They will rehearse certain moves in their minds in a very relaxed state, which is what hypnosis is. It becomes very effective. But I think that to then have the visual reminders in a vision board that people can glance at, even when you're not looking at it, your subconscious will be aware of it. And it's like a constant, not just reminder, but it's a reinforcer that this is how it is and this is how it's going to be. I think that's an incredibly powerful tool to use to reinforce that we're going to make this happen.
Exactly.
And that's the value of vision boards as I see them.
Absolutely. No, it is. It really is. You're right. Anything that keeps you aligned and focused when you get a bit wobbly, look at it and you get back to nature and like, no, I'm doing this. It's in the stars. It's going to happen. It's coming together. I remember I did one vision board and then the next day something occurred in it that I put on there. I was like, oh, and so I put it out there. I looked at the picture. So it's focused. Absolutely.
Rebekah, thank you so much for talking to us today on In the Light. It's a wonderful thing to see someone manifest their dreams.
Thank you. No, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad that, as I say, that I'm on this show talking about what I do, what I love, and I hope it helps your listeners. And yeah, I have to say, I love living the dream. It's great. It's a great feeling, and never ever want to go and never will.
Once again, the book that we've been discussing is Born to Do It, and I'll have a link to the book on the accompanying notes to the podcast. If you want to contact Rebekah, I will also put a link on there for her website. And there's a link for mine too, if you want to learn more about spirituality or take part in workshops or talks. The link is there for you too. Next week, we are going to be speaking to Felicity Warner, soul midwife, also doing something she was born to do. Until then, have a great week.